Right, section 1.2 is about overtime pay. The objective for this lesson is going to be to calculate overtime pay, understand what overtime pay means, and find the number of overtime hours that somebody works. All right, we have some vocab words first. First, we have overtime pay, which overtime pay is the amount someone gets paid when they work more than the regular hours in a week. So typically, regular hours are 40 hours. So if somebody works more than 40 hours in a week, they get paid overtime pay for that. So they get paid extra for that. Time and a half pay for what we're going to use is going to be 1.5 times the hourly. So let's say that we got paid $10 an hour. So if we got paid overtime, we would get paid a full $10 plus half of our hourly rate. So half of 10 is going to be $5. So we would get our full 10 plus we would get half of that, so we would get 5. So our overtime rate is going to be $15 per hour. That's going to be our overtime rate there. Double time pay is when we get paid twice our hourly wage. So 2 times the hourly. So for example, if we got paid $10 an hour, we would get paid twice that, so $20 per hour of overtime. All right, for example 1, we have that Alan Moore is paid $8.20 an hour for a regular 40-hour week as a restaurant host. His overtime rate is 1.5 times his regular hourly rate. This week he worked his regular 40 hours plus 10 hours of overtime. What is his total pay? So first we got to figure out what is the straight time pay. So for the straight time pay, we're going to take our $8.20 and we're going to times it by the 40 hours that he worked, which gives us $328. Now let's figure out how much his overtime rate is. So his overtime rate, he gets paid 1.5 times. So we're going to do 1.5 times $8.20, which gives us $12.30. So every hour he works above 40 hours, he gets paid $12.30. Well, he gets paid for 10 hours of overtime. So we're going to take 10 hours times $12.30, which gives us $123. Now we want to figure out the total. So to figure out our total, we're going to add 328 plus 123, which gives us a total of $451 for his total pay. All right, in example 2, Josie Perez makes $9 an hour. She worked 40 regular hours at 6 hours at time and a half, so 6 hours of overtime. We're trying to figure out how much does she make. So start with her straight time pay, $9 times 40 hours gives us $360. Now let's figure out her overtime rate. So we do 1.5 times $9, which gives us $13.50. Now she works for 6 hours, making $13.50. So multiply those together. Now figure out our total pay. 360 plus 81 means that Josie gets paid $441. Okay, example 3 is a little bit different. So here Jessica Cooper is a receptionist at a hotel and conference center. She's paid $12.50 for an hour for every regular, 40-hour week. Her overtime pay is 1.5 times her regular hourly rate. This past week, Jessica earned $612 in total pay. How many hours of overtime did she work? So here we don't know how many hours of overtime she worked. That's what we're trying to find. But we know how much she gets paid for an hour, regular pay. We know how many hours she worked for, her regular straight time pay, and we know her total pay. So what we're going to do, we're going to let X equal the number of overtime hours. And we're going to create an equation. So she makes $12.50 for 40 hours. Then she makes 1.5 times $12.50 for X numbers of hours. So we're going to multiply that together. 1.5 times $12.50 would give you her overtime rate. And if you times that by the overtime hours, that gives you your total. So we're going to do 1.5 times 12.50 times X. And we know when we add our straight time pay plus our overtime pay, we get a total of $612.50. So I like to set up equations because now I have this nice equation, and we know steps to solve these. So start by simplifying. Take our 1250 times 40, that's 500. Then take our 1.5 times 1250, it gives us 18.75. Don't forget our X. Bring down the 612. Now we're trying to get the X by itself, so we want to move the 500 to the other side by subtracting. So 612.50 minus 500. Divide both sides by 1875. We get our final answer that X equals 6 hours. So that means she works 6 hours of overtime. Our last example is similar to the one we just did. So Corey Murphy earns $11.80 an hour for a regular 40-hour week at the pet store. His overtime pay is 1.5 times his regular hourly rate. Last week, Corey earned $613.60 in total pay. How many hours of overtime did he work? So we'll start out the same way. Let X equal the number of overtime hours. And we're going to make our equation. So our equation is our straight time. Think of it this way. It's straight time pay plus overtime pay equals total pay. That's kind of the equation that we're working with, our general equation. So our straight time pay, we know, is going to be 1180 times 40. Our overtime pay, he gets paid time and a half. So it's going to be time and a half. So 1.5 times 1180 times X. And our total pay is $613.60. Now let's simplify some things. So 1180 times 40 gives us 472. 1.5 times 1180 gives us $17.70. Bring down our X and our 613.60. We want to first move the 472 to the other side. So 613.60 minus 472 is 141.60. Divide both sides by 1770. I'm going to bring my answer up here. So X equals 8 hours of overtime.